Nope. Bro, nah. It's midnight. I don't need to eat. I don't need to sleep before I record this. Normally, I wait till the next day. Nah. No. The Clippers are an unserious franchise to the highest degree. Bro, there's no way. No. There's no way I'm living through this, bro. There's no way I'm living through this. There's no way I'm seeing the things that I'm seeing. Just, no. There's no way that I woke up one morning and this team had hit the jackpot by signing the then Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, who was actually mysteriously traded there after a very underwhelming playoff series against Blazers. There's no way I woke up that morning, watched them hit the jackpot, have all these expectations for them, even though the Lakers had signed Anthony Davis and we had duos everywhere, had all these expectations because of the defense that they would have, and combined with the pure level of talent, it was supposed to take them at least to the conference finals, at the very least. And then I watched them crumble. 1, 2, 3, they just fell apart. They were on the door to playing the Lakers. That was a team they had everything to prove against. They lost it. So I was like, okay, you know what? Alright, it happens. Things in NBA history have happened before. It's not the first time. People fuck up. They're humans. You get better, you come back the next year, and you try again. This was kind of a weird season for everybody, but Paul George had a very strong start. He got a little bit shady with the injuries. Kawhi Leonard was having a great season. He had a foot injury near the ending. However, the general consensus was that they look good. They look good enough to be one of the more serious teams in the West. Then I see the first crack, and go back to one of my videos that I recorded. I don't know, time is blending together these days. Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. Whenever it was that I said, I was a little bit worried that they were ducking smoke. Go back to when I said that, because I acknowledge that it was actually the smart thing to do. Yes, you don't want to play the Lakers in the first round. That's not a good idea. They are the defending champions. They have probably the best duo in the NBA right now. Yeah, sure. I get why you don't want to do that in the first round. Nobody should want to do that in the first round. But as a team who has championship aspirations and should believe themselves have championship aspirations, ducking smoke is a sign of weakness, mental, whatever you want to call it. It's a sign of weakness. It is a crack. I didn't see the Suns ducking. I didn't see anything with the Jazz, even though I don't really know if they could. But the only team I really saw making a concentrated effort to duck was the Clippers. They lost to OKC and the Rockets on consecutive games. That's difficult, bro. It might be harder than blowing a 3-1 lead. That is difficult to do. And they did it. They have ducked smoke to be down 0-2, losing both of their home games to a team that nobody seriously thought could beat them 4 times. No. The Clippers have to leave. They have to leave Los Angeles if this goes through. It has to happen, bro. Maybe if what took place last year hadn't have happened, it wouldn't be so bad. But when you compile it, you put it all together, this is becoming one of the biggest experimental failures I have ever seen in the NBA. Ever, bro. Alright, let's talk about what's actually happening here. Luka is fucking them up. Part 2. Other guys are hitting shot, yeah, but Luka is fucking them up. I watched him run off of multiple defenders and hit a one-leg moving 3, which tells me that he doesn't take this franchise seriously at all. He definitely, and the Mavericks as a whole definitely take it personally that the Clippers tried to duck him. We're like, okay, yeah, at least we got the Mavs and it wasn't the Lakers. Yeah, he might take it personally, but he don't take this team seriously. And he never has. They never given him a reason to. Last year when they didn't have Porzingis and he wasn't healthy himself, as in Luka, they were 2-2 at a point. The Clippers' only solid defensive scheme against him ever has been his own ankle. That's it. Because other than that, for whatever reason on God's green earth, they are content to watch him just bully small guards. Why? One of the scariest features of this team was Paul George and Kawhi playing together. Now, I'm not saying either one of them can stop Luka, because at this point, it really doesn't seem, one-on-one, it really doesn't seem like anybody can. That's not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, why are they willingly accepting switches when the Mavericks try to call for it? After Luka has scored 37 points, he is on fire and the game is on the line. He has Kawhi Leonard guarding him up the floor. They call for a pick, and they simply they don't try anything. They just they hand it off to Reggie Jackson. Why? Luka has like 200 pounds on him and 6 extra feet. Why? I rarely ever go hard in critiquing NBA strategists or NBA's coaching strategies and whatnot, because I don't think I know more than an NBA coach. I really, there's never been a thought that I had and I'm like, yeah, the coach didn't think of that one. I don't believe in myself that much. I really don't. So I rarely ever go that hard, but I'm looking at this and I know I'm not the only one who sees it. You don't want Paul George or Kawhi Leonard guarding him all game because of energy and foul trouble. Okay, sure. But switch it up. I see Marcus Morris, Rondo, Reggie Jackson, Pat Bev, all these guys getting their shot at Luka, and every now and then I'll see Paul George or Kawhi on him. Those are your 2 best perimeter defenders in theory. That was what was supposed to make this team so scary. That's why we thought they hit the jackpot that one day. We used to theorize, hey, what would have happened if Paul George or Kawhi Leonard had gotten drafted with Paul George? Oh man, that would have been crazy on defense. That whole thing just going to waste as they watch Luka back down smaller guards all the way into the paint until he either gets an easy layup or they finally collapse and there's an open shot. Why? Luka might hit a step back three or a side step three on one of these guys. Sure, on Paul George and Kawhi. Yeah, he'll hit a tough shot like that. He'll have a rainbow turnaround fadeaway on Kawhi. It's going to happen. But they got to take the challenge. I watched Paul George and Kawhi Leonard in the fourth quarter just hand off the challenge to guys who clearly weren't capable. And I refuse to believe they are in film sessions with Tyronn Lue watching that happen and nobody saying, hey, maybe we should do something about this. Maybe if we're going to blitz or whatever it is we're going to do, maybe we shouldn't just hand it off to people that he sees as food every single time. So with lack of adjustments, the Clippers have lost both their home games, and y'all know, well maybe you don't know, but if you don't know, the way I feel about it, you lose both your home games unless there is divine intervention or an injury or something else. You done lost a series, bro. In 2017, the Celtics lost, is it 2017? Yeah, because D-Wade was allegedly on the Bulls. 2017, the Celtics lost both their home games to Chicago. The only reason they came back was because Rondo got hurt. I'm not afraid to say it. I don't care. Yeah, injuries are part of the game. Cool. Boston was the first round out if Chicago didn't have injuries. That we were cooked. The Clippers so far are not making adjustments. Serge Ibaka is definitely not himself right now. He missed a ton of the season. I was worried about that from the beginning. Y'all go back to the podcast. I was worried about that. So he's not himself. I watched Paul George get Kristaps Porzingis on a switch. Porzingis, who moves left to right like one of those revolving doors, you know, those big ass revolving doors that they take a while to move laterally. Yeah, that's how he moves. And he stepped back and took a three when he could have went to the rim. Why? I don't know more about basketball than Paul George. I definitely don't. I've never been anywhere near as good at basketball as Paul George. But why would you take a step back three in that situation? What reason? They've got like no support, bro. It's so fitting that the only thing you see on screen for the Clippers is cardboard cutouts. All these other teams got crazy passionate fans and it's loud and you can feel the energy. Then you pull up to Staples Center during a Clippers home game and they got it looking like I Am Legend. They're going back to Dallas, who have punked them in these first two games, and they are going to have a full crowd. They said to hell with anything right now. Pandemic over, we're done. Full house, bring all your energy. So with the Clippers, is this the team that I'm supposed to believe is about to overcome adversity? I mean that genuinely. Everything else has been ranting. Whatever, it's a 2-0 series. Am I supposed to believe that the Clippers, after everything I've seen from this series and from last season, the playoffs specifically, is this the team I'm supposed to believe is about to come back 0-2 after dropping home games? Sure, they can. It can be done, right? They barely lost game 1. They barely lost game 2. They were close games. It's not like the Mavericks have just been dogging them out. From a toughness perspective, sure, yeah, they're definitely tougher, more passionate, all that good stuff, but they've been close games and the Mavericks just shot a hell of a game as well. So yeah, can the Clippers slip in and win by 1 or 2 on these? Yeah, it can happen. Am I supposed to believe that's what's about to happen? Dallas was not scared of them last year. They just weren't healthy. Dallas is not scared of them this year. They are healthy. Look, I'm not going to be dramatic, even after this last 8 minutes of being dramatic. I'm not going to be dramatic. If the Clippers make adjustments, they can. If the Clippers do not make adjustments, if I turn this TV on in a couple of days and the first thing they do is say, here you go, Reggie, here's your switch, good luck. The series is over, bro. It's over. It's over. The Clippers are going to be first round outs. First round? I could have seen the second against the Jazz. I could have definitely seen that. As much as I am praying on the state of Utah's downfall, I could see a healthy Utah beating them. I could see that. First round? The only reason I'm not here talking about Kawhi Leonard free agency destinations is because he knew what he signed up for. Well, okay, maybe he thought it was a bit better than this. However, he left Toronto, which was a perfect contending championship situation because he wanted to be close to home. He wanted to live in LA. So he partly knew what he was leaving. That is the only reason that I'm not saying, oh yeah, he's out of here, because maybe he just does want to be in LA that much. And again, on top of the fact that we just know zero about his personal life and all that, yeah, sure, Kawhi might stay and he, thug this out with PG for the next however many years that they disappoint. But if I knew that Kawhi Leonard did not see basketball as a 9 to 5, I would think he was out of here. Oh, and that's not all. This happened on the night that Los Angeles, the real Los Angeles, actual Los Angeles team, thugged out a win in Phoenix. I'm going to talk a little bit about that one. Lakers, Suns, game 2. I'm going to throw up. I really am. Not because the Lakers won. I mean, yeah, it's fuck y'all over here in Boston, but it's not because of that. I'm gonna throw up because I feel terrible for Chris Paul. I just can't. This is another part of the simulation, bro. This is another part where the simulation reveals itself. It's not possible for somebody to be this damn unlucky. I know those of y'all that stay getting left on red out there looking at me sideways, but no, you can't be as unfortunate as Chris Paul. You can't. Chris Paul has gotten injured at every major point of his playoff career that I can remember after he left New Orleans. I'll put that caveat in there because in New Orleans New Orleans just wasn't as good. It was similar to what Dame goes through in Portland. Even though New Orleans, he had some better teams, I think there were just way better ones out there that he was competing against. But ever since he went to the Clippers, anytime they are right there, he has sustained an injury without failure. He almost hasn't lost a series just straight up yet, where it's like, okay, I'm Chris Paul, I have super expectations with this great team, and then you just beat me. I think the only time that's really happened was 2014 against the Thunder, right? And was his hamstring? Had he hurt his hamstring in 2014? He might have, but I don't think there was a serious injury that hampered him then. We just watched this happen the rest of his time with the Clippers. We watched it happen with the Rockets, the hamstring. Now it's happening here with the shoulder. This is not Chris Paul, and it's sad. My heart bleeds because the Suns really, with this team, they kept the game close with Chris Paul barely playing today. He had like 20-something minutes he logged, only played a couple in the fourth quarter. He looked very tentative offensively. It's just not the Chris Paul that was there this season. He's sitting out important parts of the game, and just what are you going to do about it, man? You get the defending champions in the first round, so he doesn't even have time to recover. They legitimately need him out there, because if it's not him, you are looking for a flash from Cameron Payne. God, I never thought I would say that sentence, but here we are. And then Devin Booker to start the rest of the offense. You cannot beat a defensive team like the Lakers with that. You're just not going to. So they were able to hold out game one. Game two, the Lakers made some adjustments. Drummond had a good game. We talked about Drummond here last time, and I was wondering, why are they trying to force this? Even though he gave them some good minutes in game one, I keep seeing the defensive side and all this other stuff. He played a good game today. I know there's a meme going around that shows his game log where he tipped a bunch of rebounds. He got like 3 rebounds on one possession or something like that. That's going around Twitter as a joke, but if you were actually watching, especially to start the game, he was important for them. Keeping possessions away from the Suns. He was actually a focal point down there when the ball would lob or he had a smaller guy pinned. Drummond did good things for them. He helped the Lakers win tonight. Then they gave Gasol some minutes. I thought that was a great thing. Instead of just not playing him at all and giving Drummond 20-something minutes, you give Drummond his minutes, let him excel at what he's good at. Then when Drummond's not there, let Gasol stretch the floor. I really didn't think that was that hard. Again, I don't know more than an NBA coach, but I was wondering why not have Gasol sometimes. Although they did give up a lot of middle paint points when Gasol was in, so that's probably one of the reasons you don't want him out there. You got to give him some minutes though. AD was much more aggressive. We knew he would be. He wasn't about to watch the tape of game one and not be aggressive. That was literally what was wrong, so he did that. LeBron James only had 18 points up until some crucial moments in the fourth quarter, and it was a LeBron takeover. It was at a point where I think the Suns had even taken a 1-point lead or they were down 1, and I tweeted out that I have not seen LeBron contending teams lose games against teams that they could actually beat in this situation. I'm sorry, that was so confusing. Let me clean up what I'm trying to say here. The Suns could have taken the game, like they could have took the momentum, they could have went up 2-0. That would put a LeBron contending team near death. I've seen his teams in that situation so many times that I knew they were going to win this game, simply because there's been so many times, like 2015 is what I'm thinking of, 2015 against the Bulls. These key moments where that team that is trying so hard to dethrone LeBron, they can do it, and they have all the opportunities in the world to do it, but it just does not happen. And that's what you saw here. Bam, there's your game 2 recap. He was hitting the fadeaways, tough threes, the fuck you threes, and then they gave him a wide open left wing 3. You gotta brush up on your history. Aiden has to step up. I don't care what else happens to the defense after that. With under a minute left, you never ever give LeBron James an open wing 3-pointer, or just an open 3 in general, but especially not from the left wing. He's hunting for that. When his career ends, he's gonna have a compilation of daggers from that same spot. You don't give him that. Whatever, I just chalked that one up to them being young. Suns lose, series is tied, and they're going back to LA. This series could get out of hand very quickly because of the state of Chris Paul. They're not going to beat the Lakers. First of all, I didn't think they would beat the Lakers anyways. They're not going to beat the Lakers with half of Chris Paul, with 70% of, or maybe 70% of Chris Paul. They're not going to beat it with the Chris Paul we saw tonight. It's not going to happen. Cameron Payne was legitimately giving them more valuable minutes, so I think that's part of the reason they sat him. And you You can't have Cameron Payne out playing Chris Paul and beating the Lakers. Won't happen. I'm sick for him, man. I'm sick for him because whatever it is that's really ailing him, Chris Paul is a tough son of a bitch. It's not something easy for him to overcome, or else he would be out there in every clutch moment. Well, this is shaping up perfectly for the Lakers because if you go ahead and finish the Suns off and they're not even as much of a challenge anymore because Chris Paul is not healthy, neither one of these teams that's about to come out of the Blazers and Nuggets can mess with you. And then I can't even say now that you don't even have to see the Clippers in the conference finals because really the way they're playing and the lack of adjustments, I'm not sure that'd be much of a challenge anyways in their current state. But I'm rooting for y'all, bro. I am rooting for y'all over there in Staples, specifically talking to the JV team. I swear I'm rooting for you. Picked them to win last year. I really thought that was a thing. Was always excited to see the Battle of LA. I want to see Kawhi Leonard write more chapters in his legacy book that he started in. Well, he started it before 2019, but 2019 was a different chapter. And at this rate, I'm gonna get none of it. Well, shout out to the NBA for having two super important games for both LA teams happen 30 minutes apart from each other. So we were having to flip back and forth and basically make decisions. I cannot watch two basketball games in depth at the same time, especially not intense ones. The Clippers got some intense games coming up. Hopefully we see some adjustments or we are gonna see a sweep. Well, what did you think about the LA activity tonight? Be sure to hit the like button, comment, let me know what you thought, also sub, and hit the bell next to my name if you want notifications every time a new video drops. Appreciate you watching, and I'll see you all on the next one.